The night was quiet in Oak Ridge, a small town where very little ever happened after dark. Officer Mark Reynolds sat in his cruiser, sipping lukewarm coffee and scanning the empty streets. His eyes caught a black sedan gliding down Main Street. It wasn't speeding, it wasn't swerving, but something about it made him suspicious. Maybe it was the sleek shine of the car, maybe it was just his own bias whispering in his head. Either way, he flicked on the flashing lights. The sedan slowed, pulled over, and stopped. Inside, Marcus Hill exhaled slowly. He had just left a late-night city meeting, still wearing his tailored suit, his tie loosened around his neck. He wasn't surprised. This had happened before, more times than he cared to count. He rolled down the window and waited. Reynolds approached with a rigid posture, hand brushing against the holster at his side. His flashlight beamed into Marcus's face. "License and registration," he said, his tone sharp, clipped, almost accusatory. Marcus kept his voice calm. "Of course, officer. My registration is in the glove compartment. May I reach for it?"
Slowly, Reynolds ordered.
Marcus did as told, his movements deliberate. He handed over the documents. Reynolds glanced at them, frowning. "Marcus Hill, where are you heading at this hour?" "Home," Marcus said evenly. "From where?" "The municipal building." Reynolds smirked. "At midnight. Must be nice. What were you doing there? Working?" "Yes," Marcus replied simply. Reynolds stared at him, still unconvinced, though he had no reason to be suspicious. The silence stretched until he said, "Step out of the vehicle." Marcus hesitated for the briefest second. "May I ask why?" "Because I said so. Step out of the car." Marcus complied. He straightened his jacket as he stepped onto the sidewalk. A small group of late-night pedestrians had begun to gather nearby, their phones raised, recording. The flashing lights, the man in the suit, the officer's demanding tone. It all drew attention quickly. "Where exactly were you coming from again?" Reynolds asked loudly, glancing at the crowd as if to show he was in charge. "I told you. The municipal building." Reynolds chuckled under his breath. "What are you, the governor?" The crowd chuckled too, a few nervous laughs breaking the tension. Marcus locked eyes with Reynolds and spoke calmly but firmly. "I'm the mayor." The words sliced through the night. The laughter stopped. Someone in the crowd gasped. A teenager whispered, "He's not lying. That's really the mayor." Reynolds blinked. His grip on the flashlight faltered. His confident smirk vanished. "Wait, what did you say?" "I said I am Marcus Hill, mayor of Oak Ridge." A ripple of shock moved through the bystanders. Phones zoomed in closer. The officer's authority seemed to shrink as reality set in. His jaw tightened, but words failed him. Marcus stood tall, composed, his voice calm. "The problem, officer, isn't that you didn't recognize me. The problem is how you treated me before you knew who I was. And that treatment is unacceptable, whether I am the mayor or just another citizen of this town." A wave of murmurs swept through the crowd, a few claps breaking out. The balance of power had shifted completely. Reynolds lowered his gaze, stammering, "Mr. Mayor, I didn't realize." Marcus retrieved his license, slid back into his car, and drove off into the night. But the cameras had already captured everything. By morning, the video was everywhere. Headlines exploded across the internet. "Mayor pulled over in controversial stop." "Officer stunned to learn driver was the mayor." Millions watched the clip of the calm, dignified mayor putting a flustered officer in his place without raising his voice. 2 days later, the town hall was packed. Marcus stood at the podium, a wall of cameras aimed at him. His voice carried steady and strong. "What happened to me was not about being mayor. This is about what happens to ordinary citizens every single day. If I, an elected official, can be treated with suspicion just for driving home, then imagine what my neighbors go through when no cameras are around. This isn't about anger. This is about change." The crowd erupted in applause. Reporters scribbled notes. The town had never seen its leader so resolute. Marcus spoke of dignity, respect, and reform. His words struck deeper than anger ever could. At home, Reynolds watched the speech on television, a pit in his stomach. He had been suspended. His name was being dragged across headlines. But more than the punishment, it was the calm strength of Marcus Hill that haunted him. The mayor could have humiliated him, destroyed him, demanded his badge. Instead, Marcus had chosen dignity. Weeks later, Reynolds stood nervously in the mayor's office, his uniform stiff, his posture uneasy. "Mr. Mayor," he began, "I wanted to say I'm sorry, Marcus raised a hand. "This isn't about an apology, Officer Reynolds. Do you understand why what you did was wrong?" Reynolds lowered his head. "Because I treated you like a suspect instead of a citizen." "Exactly," Marcus said. "And not just me. Everyone. A badge doesn't give you the right to assume. It gives you the responsibility to protect." The officer swallowed hard. "I understand." Marcus studied him for a long moment, then nodded. "Then use that understanding. Change how you work. Help change others, too." From that day forward, Oak Ridge began to change. Training programs were introduced. Community meetings opened dialogue between citizens and police. Marcus's message, "Respect must be universal," echoed across the town. And Reynolds, though far from perfect, began to see the world differently. Every time he pulled someone over, he remembered that night. The night he stopped a man he thought was just another driver, but who turned out to be the leader of his city. The night he learned that true power isn't found in flashing lights or a badge. True power lives in respect.